Council number 331, and I'd like to welcome you all to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I am so honored to be here with so many capable, smart, and committed women. Living here, our community has great potential, but it also has many challenges. And that is why I am so excited that the National VP for Women and the National Women's Commission decided to bring this conference to Milwaukee. I also want to thank LULAC National President for her leadership over the past 4 years. Thank you, Madam. When I was first asked to make remarks today before you, I was uncertain as to what I was going to say. I am usually sitting where you are. I am inspired by the speakers that LULAC brings to these events, and that's my comfort zone. I listen, I'm inspired, and I go and try to do the best that I can. So I thought, do I speak about my business Advanced Wireless? Do I speak about the loves of my life, my pride and joy, my boys and Daniel and Matthew? Do I speak about my husband and his never-ending mission to do what is good and what is just? But those of us who really know Daryl already know that his actions speak greater volumes than I could ever tell you right here. You are such a wonderful role model for our children. Thank you so much. I knew what I wanted to speak to you about today, and it is not an easy subject or an easy topic for me to talk about because it is something that is very sensitive to my heart. And I will preface this first by saying I mean not to offend anybody in this room by what I'm about to speak of. And I will, like I said, I will speak about this as sensitively as I can because this affects everybody here now or maybe later in time by way of a family member, a friend, or a colleague at work. This will all affect us. I'm going to talk to you today about a woman, the strongest woman that I know, and a very brave little girl. The woman that I'm speaking of is my sister, and the little girl that I'm speaking about is my niece, Juliana. In July of 2008, Juliana was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 2 years old. For those of us out here that are parents, do you remember what your children were doing when they were 2? Do you recall how the babbling that they were speaking turned into coherent words, and those words were strung together to make sentences? And we would chase them around because they would dart out faster out of the room than we could catch them, and we tried to protect them from everything that we could. Do you remember that when they were 2? They were developing their personalities. We as parents are responsible for noticing those cues, those milestones that tell us that our children are developing in a certain way. We wait for those cues. We look for them in our children. So I ask you, how does a parent know the moment that happens when their perfect child has a pancreas that is no longer functioning properly? And because of that, the blood sugar levels inside of their body continue to rise and rise and rise to levels that are so dangerous. I'm sorry, just give me 1 second. It was a long time after that day in July 2008 before my sister and I could sit down and share a conversation where she would tell me in hindsight that those cues that we are so attuned to looking for, the cues to Juliana's diagnosis were there all along. That day forever changed their lives. but we learn and we move on and we move forward. And so here we are today, March 2014. Juliana is now 8 years old. She's a second grader. She is a brownie. She's a member of a brownie troop, and she can sell every one of these cookies like nobody's business. She is a gymnast and a dancer. She plays soccer, softball. She's a swimmer. She has many friends. She is happy. She is filled with joy. And she is so loved. So loved. There are no limits to what Juliana can do. None whatsoever. She is a thriving little girl who happens to need to check her blood sugar several times a day. And in the words of my sister, and these are her direct words, though Juliana's disease is manageable, insulin is not her cure. It is her lifeline every single day. And because of that reason, my council is dedicated to raising funds to fight this diabetes, type 1 diabetes. Everyone seated here in this room, you are here and we share something in common, and that common thread is this. You have been called to do something selfless. You are propelled forward to help others better their lives. And so I humbly stand here before you to ask you to consider one thing, and that is that you participate in a JDRF walk in your hometown so that together we can help fight this horrible disease and turn type 1 into type none. Thank you all for allowing me just a little bit of your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference.